Oh hey, the one and only Dusty Bottoms, founder of Kingdom Trucking Academy and the creator of the Kingdom Driver Training Program.
Hail to the king, baby.
In this video, we're going to be learning double clutching. Double clutching is required when you take your CDL exam in a manual transmission. Most schools no longer use manual transmissions in their school. Why? Well, that's because it's hard to teach and it's hard to learn. I disagree with that statement because most schools do not have good curriculums. They also do not do a good job of thoroughly training their instructors to teach the programs. And the second reason is because most major motor carriers these days are doing away with their manual transmissions and switching to automatics. Here at Kingdom Trucking Academy, we make learning to drive a manual transmission as simple as possible. So let's get started. The first thing I like to go over with my students before we even begin driving is one, we're going to learn the shifting pattern of our truck. We need to know whether it's an 8-speed with an H pattern. We need to know whether it's a 10-speed or an 18-speed. Getting to learn your shifting pattern and getting familiar with it before we start driving gets you comfortable when you get out on the road. The second thing we're going to go over is clutch pedal depression.
The depression. The shutdowns had started when the Wall Street bonanza stopped and the well-off folks stopped spending.
No. That's not some time in history. Clutch pedal depression is how much we're going to push the clutch pedal in when we are shifting. So when you're at a complete stop or you're coming to a complete stop is the only time we're going to push the clutch pedal all the way to the floor. The reason being is when you push the clutch pedal all the way to the floor, you engage the clutch brake. I don't want to get into what the clutch brake does and all of those nuances. You're here to learn to double clutch. What I like to do is I'll take my students out to the truck and we'll start the truck. With it running, I have them again practice their shifting pattern, and then I have them practice feeling the clutch resistance on the clutch pedal. When you go to push it in, you'll feel it free, and then you feel it get hard.
That's what she said.
Once you feel it that get hard, you feel the resistance, that's as far as you need to push it in. Okay, now that you feel comfortable and you've had some time to play around with your shifting pattern and that clutch pedal, now let's move on and get started. Double clutching is just like it sounds. We push the clutch in once to release the shifter out of gear, and then we push the clutch in again to place the shifter in gear. So how that goes is push the clutch in once, take it out of gear, push the clutch in again, places it in gear. It's a quick double pump action. What I tell my students to do is count to 1, 2. 1, take it out of gear, 2, put it in gear. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, and you should be pushing that clutch. Get comfortable with this motion. 1, 2, 1, 2. The next thing I like to tell my students is our RPMs. What I mean by that is we stomp the throttle to the floor. Why do we stomp the throttle to the floor? It shoots our RPMs up. In order for us to put the shifter into a gear, the RPMs have to be built up enough for it to go in that gear. If it's too low or it's too high, it'll grind. The sweet spot is between 1000 and 1500 RPMs. I have my students stomp the throttle, the engine revs, you'll hear that whistling, that screaming of the engine. That's telling you to shift. Now remember, your truck is not going to go faster than the gear that you're in. So you stomp it to the floor, you hear that whistle, that means shift. Then double clutch. 1, release, 2, place in. The reason I have my students stomp the throttle to the floor, it brings the RPMs all the way up, is that time that it takes you to double clutch, 1, 2, your RPMs are going to drop. Your truck and trailer combination is heavy. It'll slow the vehicle down a lot faster than you think. That'll drop your RPMs into that sweet spot, that window that it needs to be in for the shifter to be able to slide right into place. This is the part people have trouble with because you're trying to get your left hand and your right hand to work. Actually, you're trying to get your left foot and your right hand to work at the same time. It's kind of like playing guitar, right? It takes a lot of coordination. You're gonna suck at first, but then you'll get it. Trust me, follow me and I'll have you playing like Slash in no time. Now, things to pay attention to while you're actually out there driving and practicing. If you think you're doing this right and you keep grinding gears when you shift, chances are you're pushing your clutch too far in. If you're watching your RPMs and your RPMs are between 10 and 1500 and you're still grinding, chances are, like I said, you're pushing the clutch pedal all the way to the floor. This is something to pay attention to. Now, if you have a good instructor and you're at a good school like Kingdom Trucking Academy, our instructors would catch that right away and we'd point it out for you to fix. Again, something to pay attention to. If you're watching this video now, chances are you're not going to a good school and they're not teaching you correctly. But don't worry, Dusty Bottoms is your trucking messiah, and I will lead you to the promised land.
You are the Messiah.
The next thing we're gonna go over now is downshifting. It's the other part of your state exam when you're taking a manual transmission that they're grading you on. You need to downshift when you're coming to every stop or you're slowing down. Downshifting is easy. You've already got the pattern memorized, so you're just doing it in reverse. What I tell my students is 3 steps. I have them say it out loud when they're first practicing. This helps them get it down. Brake, clutch, throttle. Brake, clutch, throttle. Once you get familiar with this and you get comfortable, then you can try to double pump the clutch to downshift. But until then, just get the downshifting part down. Brake, clutch, throttle. What that does is we depress the brake and it slows the truck down. We need to get to the truck and to the speed that it needs to be in for it to go in the appropriate gear. This is another thing I like to tell my students as they get more comfortable. Start paying attention to your speedometer and how fast you're traveling when you need to shift that into the next gear. That's about the speed that it needs to be in, or the range of speed that it needs to be in when you go to downshift. Again, it'll seem crazy at first, but give it a day or two and you'll get comfortable and you'll get this down. So remember those steps. Brake, clutch, throttle. We hit the brake, release. We hit the clutch, take it out of gear. And then we tap the throttle to slide it in gear. Remember, as you get more comfortable, you can do the double pump of the clutch. So you're doing your double clutching. But most examiners won't knock you for this. This is AMVA improved steps. Brake, clutch, throttle. Brake, clutch, throttle. Remember, it's very simple. Now that you understand double clutching, I'm gonna give you some tips that I give my students before we test. Tip number 1 is don't get overzealous. Don't try to do too much. When we're downshifting, 1 to 2 gears when you're coming to a stop is sufficient. If we're getting off an on-ramp on the highway, just downshift your high side. It's a little easier and it's demonstrating to the examiner that you're downshifting and you know what you're doing. When you're on city roads, in urban areas, 1 to 2 gears downshifting when you're coming to a stop. We don't want to get distracted. We have a lot going on that we're going to be responsible for when taking the CDL test. So let's try to keep things as simple as possible. The other tip I like to tell my students is it's more of a reminder. If you are watching any of the Kingdom Driver Training Program videos on kingdomtruckingacademy.com, you'll know that there's auto fails when you're taking your CDL exam. One of those auto fails is encroaching traffic. Oh hey, the one and only Dusty Bottoms, founder of Kingdom Trucking Academy and the creator of the Kingdom Driver Training Program. The Kingdom Driver Training Program is the curriculum we use at Kingdom Trucking Academy. We have maintained a 100% passing rate using the Kingdom Driver Training Program. The Kingdom Driver Training Program is a complete set of 9 comprehensive videos. You can purchase all 9 videos at kingdomtruckingacademy.com. Each video is designed for the requirements needed to pass your CDL exam. So follow me as I guide you through each stage of your CDL exam. You can purchase each video at kingdomtruckingacademy.com for $49.99 or the complete set for $299.99. That's a great price. These videos are some of the most comprehensive videos today on the market. Our curriculum is trademarked for a reason, because Kingdom Trucking Academy is the standard. Everyone else is just second place. So go to kingdomtruckingacademy.com to get your videos today. Roll on, truckers, roll on. Encroaching traffic, though, is when we stop. We have to stop, and traffic has to stop around us. If you stall your vehicle out when shifting and you have to come to a stop to be able to get it back in gear, you've already failed. Also, you do not shift through train tracks, you do not shift through intersections, and we do not shift making turns. These are things your instructor should go over with you. And again, not every instructor is made like the Kingdom Trucking Academy instructors. Lastly, don't panic if you grind a few gears. A good examiner knows that you're just getting started. This is part A of your CDL journey. You're now trying to get your tests done. You're trying to get your license. Okay? They don't expect you to be perfect. So don't freak out. You grind a couple gears, no big deal. Grinding gears should not make you fail. If that makes you fail, A, something else probably went wrong, or B, you have a really crappy examiner. And I'm not about to go down that avenue of where there are crappy examiners, and why we have so many crappy examiners. That's for another day. And remember, when driving on the low side, your shifting gears will be a lot quicker than on the high side. So we stomp the throttle, we shift. You're going to be shifting rapidly on the low side. And yes, always start out in first gear. We're here to take a test. We're here to pass the test. Once you get your CDL, do whatever you want to do. I hope this was helpful. If you like this video, give us a like and subscribe to our channel. For more of our instructional videos, go to kingdomtruckingacademy.com. If you're in the KC metro area, give us a call. We'll get you enrolled and get you out on your way. I'm Dusty Bottoms. Roll on, truckers, roll on.